Hey, welcome to Rich with Experiences. My name is Michelle, your host. And before we get started, let's start by doing an amazing breathing routine to get us in this moment because, baby, we about to talk. So let's go ahead and get comfortable. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath in. And then when you exhale on that breath, I want you to do something that's going to sound a little weird, but I want you to make an audible sound inside. And I want you to feel it in your heart chakra. Okay. So I'm going to show you what I mean. I want you to take a deep breath in, and then I want you to exhale and go, oh. You should feel it right here in that heart chakra. Okay, let's do it again. All right. Deep breath in. Oh. Now, this time, let's go ahead and relax and sink into that seat. If you're sitting in your couch, I want you to sink into that couch. If you're sitting in a chair, sink into that chair. If you're driving while listening to me, don't sink too much into that seat, but I want you to just at least go ahead and give that nice deep sound on your exhale. Okay, so let's do it again. Let's breathe in and exhale. Oh. All right. Welcome. Again, my name is Michelle. I am the host of Rich with Experience, and I'm also the founder and owner of Life After Loss Academy. So I'm excited that we are here today, and I'm excited that you are with me and we're building this Rich with Experiences community. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about this podcast. This podcast is all about you and the experiences and the journey that you have gone through that has made you this resilient, amazing woman that you are. I know sometimes when life is lifing, it doesn't feel like we're always at the top of our game, but this is a community where we're going to share our stories. We're going to encourage one another because I truly believe that iron sharpens iron, and we're going to sharpen each other right here in the Rich with Experiences community. I came up with the name Rich with Experiences as I was working through my own course, as I do. And I was reflecting and looking back on my life as a chapter book. And I started laughing because it dawned on me, you know, I didn't have a lot of money in the bank, but the one thing I did have, I was rich with experiences. And that was important because as I was going through my coaching certifications and I started working more in the coaching industry, I realized that your experiences creates your beliefs, and your beliefs is how you operate in the world. And that's one of the reasons why I really don't argue when people come to me and they say, I believe this, I believe that. And I say, I'm interested in why you believe that. Why do you think that? Because oftentimes that stems from an experience that you had, right? So I work in the area of trauma. And one thing that I realized as I was going through my own healing journey, and when I was discovering a lot about what I was experiencing, I realized that trauma and grief worked hand in hand. And once I started to handle my trauma from the idea and the understanding that I am grieving something that I lost throughout this experience that I went through and created an adaptation, created my belief, created an idea. All right, let me explain. So I have a story. A little this week, I wanted to get out. I wanted to find the courage to do something. I'm not a big athlete. I never was into sports. I came from the theater world. I came from choir. So I was really into just really showing up on stage. But I also knew that as I'm trying to work on myself, I'm healing. I wanted to do something that really encouraged me to do more health and wellness. I wanted to get out there. I wanted to try to do something. So now I'm trying to get nice for the summer. I don't want to be a big back during the summer. I want to look nice during the summer. So I decided that I wanted to try the sport of pickleball. And I I'm not as confident as I want to be in that sport. So it took a lot for me to get out there and really try. The other day, I didn't really want to play, and it took a lot for me to get out there. I struggle with social anxiety. I struggle with a lot of other elements, and I really wanted to try. So I got the courage to go out there, and I sucked. I was not good at all. I made a fool of myself. In fact, it was so terrible that the other people decided to tell me how bad I was doing, and it hurt my feelings. And I wanted to cry in that moment. I wanted to leave that stage or that court. I wanted to put my paddle up. I wanted to put the ball up, and I wanted to give up, but I didn't. And we're going to discuss what limited beliefs does and how it can really stop us from moving forward and doing the things that we want to do in life. How do you develop limited beliefs? Where do limited beliefs come from? Where do these ideas that we can't do something comes from? It comes from your experience. The experience that you have in your life equals and creates sometimes the beliefs that you may have. So let's go back to the pickleball. I wasn't really confident in going out there and playing the sport, but I knew that I could. I knew that I had the ability. I knew that I had the drive. So I went out there. I tried. I wasn't the best. And in that moment, I sat down and I really wanted to cry. I wanted to shed a tear, but I wasn't going to. But then I remembered some of the lessons that I did in the past. I wanted to create this safe space for me to allow myself to have the feelings because as women, we deny ourselves to feel. And especially if we're trying to overcome something that we're not used to. And doubly, if we're trying to move past something that has created a limited belief when we're feeling that we can't do something that we want to try. Hmm. And then we are fearful. So I had to sit there and I had to ask myself, okay, what do you want to do in this moment? And I said, cry. I want to cry. I am mad. I am sad. I am all of the above. And I wanted to check so many boxes. So I said, okay, go cry. So I walked across the street. I found a place where I could feel safe. I can allow myself to be vulnerable. I can allow myself the grace to breathe, to just breathe. And in that moment, the tears came down. Oh, yes, girl, the tears came. And as the tears came, I wiped them off. Some of them was, oh, I'm never going back out there again. Some of them are, I want to prove them wrong. Some of them was like, I want to get so good. I want to find that person who said mean things to me and I want to show them how great I am. Then I had to ask myself, why did you come out here? What was your driving force to come out here? And I said, well, I like the game. Do you like it now? And I said, no. Okay. Sometimes that happens. But are you going to allow this moment to stop you? Are you going to allow this moment to keep you from doing something you enjoyed? And I thought about it. And I did think maybe I was going to say yes, because it's so easy to say yes, especially if you are trying to do something that you have been telling yourself over and over and over again that you can't do. If you have been around people who have told you that you can't do, you're never going to accomplish. You're not good enough. How are we going to move through it? Ask yourself, why am I here? Why did I choose to do this? What? Put myself first? I can't put myself first. Oh, yes. Adjust your crown. Put your head up, I told myself as I was sitting there. So it's okay to be here for this moment. Give yourself grace. Allow yourself to cry. Ask yourself, why are you here? I went out there again the next day. I wasn't as confident, but I didn't quit. And I'm not going to quit because when we are working through something that once limited us, that we once thought we couldn't do because of something in our life that had created this idea. Of course, when we try something, we're automatically, oh, no, I can't do that. Something new. I'm afraid. And then I asked myself, did you do it? And I said, yes. And can you do it again? And I said, yes. So I ask you, if you're like me and you're working through trying to understand and trying to be like, you know what? I want to do something amazing. I have this idea, I have this product, but I'm just so afraid to speak. I'm so afraid of being wrong. I'm so afraid of being laughed at. But man, it's burning in me and I want to do it so bad. I'm passionate. Then I ask yourself, what are you losing by saying, I can't? See, trauma makes us feel like we can't do something because that trauma, that experience, something was lost in the transaction. And that part of us that we lost, we're trying to get back. And as we're trying to get it back, it feels new. It feels scary. But we're working on it. I want to encourage you to continue to work on it. And here's the tool I want you to use. When you're thinking about what it is you need in those moments where you're going to be really low, think about, why am I doing this? And if you did it, it doesn't matter if it was done to the idea of perfection in which you thought that it was going to look. Because I don't know about you, I have amazing ideas of things I'm going to do. And even though it's spectacular in my mind, it doesn't always translate with how I envision it to be. But it wasn't all a failure. And sometimes we need to accept the wins, even when it doesn't look exactly the way we wanted it to look. It's still a win, nevertheless. And that win is going to be that motivation to get you through to the next day. Now, I'm going to share a little bit about me. I love a list. If I have a list of my to-dos, there is nothing more phenomenal than scraping that list down, right? Like, oh, I got that done. I have that done. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, achievement. I want you to use that. If you're a list person, use that same type of thought process. Okay, you know what? I came out on a Tuesday. You know what? I told one person about my idea. And I didn't care whether they liked it or not. It was just the fact of I'm sharing it. I am moving past this fear that is stopping me. And then I want to honor and go back and love on that person that was lost, that experience that made me so fearful. And if you don't know what experience that is, and if you're like, you know what, I don't know, Michelle, I want to do something, but every time I try, I stop. I just can't move past it. And it's driving me crazy and it's keeping me stuck right here in this moment. It could even be in a relationship. I want to get married, but the idea just, I'm fearful. Maybe I don't feel that I'm good enough for a relationship. I see marriages fail, and I don't know if I even have what it takes to be successful in a relationship. So then I don't even try. I count myself out before I even can get in the game. Ask yourself, what is it you want? And if that want is greater than the fear of being without, well, you know what it is you need to do. Create a small goal that's going to help you get to that big one that you have. And when you accomplish that small goal, treat it just as if you're taking something off of that list. Celebrate it. Even if it takes 5 minutes for you to get to the point of celebrating it. And trust me, when I was sitting there thinking about pickleball, it took me a very long time to find that thing that's like, you know what? You did it. Because I wasn't feeling it at first. And that's just reality. It's life. When you try something and you don't succeed at first and you feel you didn't succeed, or if someone says something mean about you and you feel like, you know what? You don't even know how hard it was for me to even be in this moment. Hello. Sometimes people don't realize how hard it is just for you to show up. But I see you. We see you right here in the Rich with Experiences community of women. We see each other. And we're going to celebrate each other. Because my story can uplift and encourage you. And your story can uplift and encourage so many others. When I started Life After Loss Academy, it wasn't because I had the idea that I wanted to help many women like myself permanently remove blockages from trauma. It wasn't from that place in my heart at all. I asked myself one day, if I had an idea of generational wealth, what would generational wealth look like for me? And I sat and I meditated on that. I was shocked to find out when I wrote down my answer after thinking about it. I was not concerned with money as wealth, as something that I wanted to pass on to my children. It wasn't money, it was healing. Unhealed trauma can keep you back from so much in life. And it was keeping me back. It was stopping me from really being my authentic self. It was stopping me from being the mother that I wanted to be. It was stopping me from being the woman I wanted to be. And ultimately, it was also stopping me from being the wife I wanted to be. And so that started this journey. I needed to do the healing for myself. And through that journey, I realized I learned a lot of valuable things because I had to learn it on my own. Nobody in my household was talking about your mental health, healing trauma. It was very taboo. But here, it's not going to be taboo. We're going to talk about the tough topics. We're going to talk about loss. We're going to talk about pain. We're going to talk about abuse because all of that is real. And those experiences have impact. Those experiences are some of those things that we don't even talk about because we don't feel safe. But we know that those experiences created the woman that we are. And I challenge you to look at those experiences as not something of hardship, but we're going to look at those experiences for exactly what they are. They're the pressure that is creating the diamond that you will become, that you are. I am so happy to be doing this show. I'm so happy to be building this community. And moving forward, we'll be having so many amazing shows. There's going to be great guests, amazing guests who are going to share their experiences, their expertise, their knowledge, and their compassion. I'm so happy that you are here with me. If you're interested in working with me at Life After Loss Academy, we have a 12-week program. We have two different types of options. We have a group option where we work together as a group because I find that in this world, when we experience tough things, we often feel we're by ourselves. We're in it alone, and isolation becomes a real dark place. And when you're around people, women, and we hear stories of encouragement, we hear stories of other situations, we might not be, no one's ever going to live the same experience you have lived. You can be in the same exact vehicle and experience a car accident, but you guys will not experience it the same way. So nobody's experiences will ever be exactly the same, but we can sharpen each other. We can sharpen the skills. We can feel like, you know what? I can relate to your story. And now I have somebody that I can say, sister, thank you. I see you. And that is the community we are going to build. So I really love working as a group, but I also work with clients individually, one-on-one. So you can reach me at all of the, you can reach me at my website and the information that will be below if you want to work with me. Okay, so now I want us to just really just take some time and just breathe into what we talked about because I know that some of the things that I discussed was pretty hard and it sometimes can be a little traumatic and can bring up experiences within yourself, especially when we're talking about trauma, when we're talking about grief, when we're talking about loss, when we're talking about things that just doesn't feel good. I want you to just take this time right now and I want you to just scan yourself, scan your body, scan whatever that you may be feeling. If you're feeling anything, if you're not, amazing, just I want you to just sink in with yourself. I want you to just give yourself some grace and love in this moment. I want you to just hear your breath. I want you to just take this time to love yourself through discovery and healing. Because when you're going through understanding why you feel, why you have certain beliefs, why things are difficult, it can be tough. When I asked myself, why do I not want to be here? The answer was tough. I was made fun of a lot growing up. Oftentimes, I was the only Black kid in a white community, in a white school, and it was hard. And it made it tough for me. So I always get nervous when I'm in new crowds. But see, I allowed myself to be vulnerable. I allowed myself to really ask myself those questions, and I allowed myself the space to answer. And sometimes it's not always a good feeling, but it's your feelings, it's your truth. So they're always valid. And it's always important, as you are so important. So love yourself as you discover new things about yourself, new desires, new ambitions, new goals. Give yourself grace, honor the walk. One thing I know as women, if we do not pour first into ourselves, we cannot pour into others. We cannot pour into our business. We cannot pour into our marriages. We cannot pour into our children. You can't pour a lot of substance if you don't have it in the cup. Not enough to share. So I encourage you, pour into you first. So I'm going to challenge you this week. Find something that you want to do. But it has to be something that you've been talking yourself out of. It has to be something that you have created a limited belief around. I don't want you to look at the big limited belief. Say, for instance, if you want to do a new product or a new idea, what is one thing that you can do to help take that one step forward, to push past that level of fear? What is one thing that you can do, one goal, one step? And when you do it, because I know you're going to do it, if you are my list person, scratch it off that list. Feel that energy. Get excited. Do a dance. Trust me, when I do something off of my list, I dance, baby. I don't care who sees. It can look funny. I dance. I sing it out because that motivation is going to get you to sign off that next thing and to do the next thing. And then soon you're going to be looking back and you're going to say, I had it all along. I just needed to tell myself, I needed to rewrite that belief. I needed to create a new belief around this experience. And once you do that, your experience will equal a new belief. That limited belief will be no longer. And just apply that to the next one. Keep this in your toolbox. Remember, give yourself the space. If you have something that you're working on that you just need that extra encouragement, set up the boundaries ahead of time. Set up the guidelines. What is it that you need? What is it that I need in those moments where I need that motivation, where I feel like I'm not going to be able to accomplish it. For me, when I was pickleballing, it was go someplace safe. Allow yourself that space, that time to feel what you're feeling. Because I didn't used to do that. So if you're someone who's similar to me, who wasn't used to allowing yourself to feel, or if you were not raised in an environment where you were allowed to feel, start giving yourself a safe space, because then you can start letting that inner child feel safe. Talk to yourself like, you know what? I want to go. I want to go and create a safe space for myself so I can just feel, process. Sometimes we need a process, and that's okay too. Just give yourself whatever you need. Give yourself that grace. Ask yourself, what were my intentions? What's my why? Why am I doing this? Did you get it done? Well, yeah, it wasn't the way that I wanted to. I tried it. Well, trying is better than not doing, so you did something, right? Well, yeah. Don't you think that's kind of a win? Well, now that you're saying it that way, sometimes we don't see the little things as being the win. So I challenge you to see those little things as a win and celebrate it. Mark it off the list. Congratulate yourself because you're loving yourself through the discovery and the healing because it's going to be a process. Put this in your toolbox. I'm going to be giving you so many tools through this podcast. I am a true believer, and you might not use all the tools, but you may need them. And it's better to have them, to know them, and when you need them, to be able to use them than to be struggling. So the more I know, the more I want to share. The experts that are coming, they are so full of knowledge and they want to share as well. I'm so glad to be here with you guys. So next week, I am so excited. We're going to be talking about who are you being? Who are you being? Are you being mom, business owner, wife, team mom of the sports team, PTA? Are you being everything else person you desire to be? How do we put ourselves first as women in this world? Well, we're going to talk about that next week. And I am so excited that you are here with me. And thank you so much.